Hey guys, people, Clueless Gamers, back to Arrow, Season 5, Episode 6, So It Begins. So from the title of that episode, I assume we're basically beginning the season in a way, and it looks like Prometheus, after what happened last episode of killing Tobias Church, he looks like he will be our main villain of the season, so kind of the war against him, I would assume, begins. As you can tell from the background of this, not only am I home for the break, you could also tell how far I am behind on reactions, but I had a lot of stuff going on just with school-wise and work and stuff, so I don't really regret being behind on TV shows because in the end, even though I love talking to you guys and some of you guys really like my reaction out there, and that means so much to me, I really do appreciate that. I do understand, you guys do understand that, you know, it doesn't come first, and I really appreciate, you know, your patience and everything else. I cannot stress that enough. But last episode that I watched, you know, besides Tobias getting killed by Prometheus, we had the human target, which I thought was a really cool concept. He's apparently a character in the comic books. I didn't kind of like his integration, you know, like it was too weirdly integrated into the flashback. However, it did fit in the story that Oliver is supposed to be part of the Bratva now, but this guy Victor is trying to kill him, and, you know, not everything's great on that front. I trust Anatoly, but I also think he could turn on us at any point, but I've enjoyed the flashback so far. I've enjoyed Arrow Season 5 so far. The only other thing I didn't like, besides, you know, killing Tobias Church, which I really like Chad Coleman, I thought that was a mistake, was we were hinting a little too much at the Elicity coming back, so that kind of gives me pause to regret in a way. Hopefully they don't overdo that. I think it's going to happen at some point, but as long as they do it in just a way that doesn't make me aggravated and like this is too far of a stretch or it takes too much up of the show, I'll be fine with it. But I kind of just want them to be friends, so we'll see about that going forward. And, you know, we saw, you know, just the team operating in the sense that, you know, not listening to Oliver as usual, and John coming back to the team for the first time as Spartan. So all that stuff was great. Super excited for this episode because Prometheus is a badass. So without further ado, guys, here we go. So he took John as most trusted man. I like the new helmet. It looks a lot better and a lot less Magneto-ish. It's like a ceremony of the fire, like he's walking them into a ring. That's almost what it seems like. So it begins. So there's the title of the episode. Roll credits. Alright, so Prometheus all out declaring war on Oliver. I like it. Our villain's being bold. I think you're dealing with a force that Batman has to contend with in the past, so Prometheus is not a joke. Oh, Oliver not the best at making bombs. At least Anatoly's there to tutor him into all these skills he's going to use. Oh my god. Damn, he really blew up. Well, there's retaliation, maybe from inside the Bratva, from Victor. Totally possible. Alright. So Kolvar versus the Bratva. Here we go. Yeah, Oliver, don't. She's got dirt on you now. Do not even go down that road. Hopefully also Lance is not drinking. It's our City Nights. That's cool. Like the Starry Nights painting. Why do I feel like Prometheus is going to show up in this house? Because I'm right? That's why. That's why I feel like that. Oh, fuck. What does he want with her? Well, I don't think he cares. Alright, so what did he must kill for a reason. He wants something from her. I don't think he's just killing a random person. Or he could be to get Oliver's attention. Totally possible. I like his theme music, too. It's very cool. Alright. Prometheus has declared all-out war on our team, and especially Oliver. I think this could be a tough test for them. I want to see a villain that Oliver can fight, in the sense that, even though I love Dark, he was so overpowering for most of the season. I would like to see someone that could go toe-to-toe with Oliver, but Oliver still has the chance of winning. But I also want to see someone that can really kick Oliver's ass. Kind of like Malcolm was kicking his ass in Season 1. I want to see something like that. So the new DA is there, too. I still don't fully trust him. I don't think he's Prometheus, but I don't trust him. Oh, Oliver's showing up in the daytime. That's different. This is like our new Lance Oliver meetings.
Must come in handy when you lock yourself out of your place.
Yep, he's just calling Oliver out. Can you catch me before I kill the next person?
We will.
I do understand John and Oliver's hesitation to not bring them in, especially since Renee gave up Oliver, so... But I also understand Felicity not wanting to involve her boyfriend. She's just gonna take it off the desk, isn't she? Which is totally illegal to take bagged evidence from the police station.
The worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, Susan Williams loves her ratings, doesn't she? She said she'd lay off Oliver, but she didn't say she'd lay off other stories that would directly affect them. I can never look at this actor again and not see Johnny from Justified, if anyone watches that show.
This is escalated. Stop calling Susan Williams my girlfriend.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. I really hope he doesn't start dating Susan. He's got too many things going on right now. And she's just a bitch. I have a feeling this is just mass panic. It has nothing to do with Prometheus. It's just creating bad things because of the news story. I mean, and this is Star City. It's a pretty degenerate place. This guy's just aimlessly shooting at everything. There you go, Ragman. Yeah, I would run, bud. They're shooting up in the same direction, so maybe they've seen something up there, like a Prometheus. Totally possible. Because they're all shooting in the same direction. That's cool. Yeah, I would listen to him, bud. That was cool. I like the arrow and the gun. Alright, so Prometheus is causing mass panic, kind of aided by what Susan Williams is doing. My question is, how long is she going to hold the dirt on Oliver Queen with that picture from Russia? How long is she going to hold on to that before she blows that up? Is it going to be after the month ban? We'll see. Accomplished. Check. Nailed it.
Here is Team Arrow. I usually agree with you guys, but the whole city is going up so crazy right now.
Yeah, so not the best time to argue right now. All work together. I see both sides of the argument. So I guess she probably found this alcohol in Lance's desk, and since she's kind of been his pseudo-daughter in a way, this father-daughter relationship, she's going to be pretty pissed about that. Oh, he's gone after his father's list. Holy shit. So not only does Prometheus have access to that information, Oliver just realized that Prometheus knows who he is, which they kind of figured with the whole Tobias thing of maybe he gave him up, but I would assume were hoping that maybe he killed Church before he said anything. I think they're finding out that, oh shit, this fight is closer to home than Oliver thinks. How did he get his hands on the book?
The arrow. Green arrow.
Yeah, making that connection. Oliver's done it the whole time.
When I was first starting out, I thought that it was my way to save the city. Well,
it was awesome, season 1.
Would tarnish the Black Canary's legacy.
It would, still.
How are you anything other than a hypocrite?
First, it would have tarnished her legacy.
I agree.
You knew that I was a killer when you came on board.
This is also true. And this is why exactly they didn't bring in the B team, because you guys are not on board. You're always whining. Good work, Oliver. Got the bomb kit already in there. Very nice.
You play, what's American term? Douche? Very well.
That was good. But if this was Kovar's nightclub, why were they going to let Oliver buy it? That seems interesting. Oh, well, shit. Maybe the prophet set him up. He never was clean.
You didn't. You've been drinking the whole time.
Yep. It's hard. He's an alcoholic.
Do you care for some?
She's a little young.
She's 17.
Yeah, she's a little young.
My dad is here. Look at this little meeting is because we learned Oliver's a killer. I got news for you. It's not news. But killing. I
agree. And this is I like the new team having a meeting amongst themselves. I get it in a way, but it's because you guys react like this that he doesn't trust you. Oh, this is an old thing he used to do back in season 1.
Yeah, I don't think they make enough tennis balls for that. Damien Dark, and I haven't stopped since.
And I like it. Stay killing, Oliver. Don't change. Kill the bad people.
I think you are moving forward. I think you're evolving.
I definitely think so.
What makes you
Remember season 1?
Because that guy with the list wouldn't be the thought to ask the question.
That is true. He was killing people left and right. That's right, they have the intercom system. How big is this place?
For me. Not for you.
Alright. The conflict between her and Oliver, just like Felicity and Rory have conflict between them. It's like all of our old members have a conflict with some other new member. Or John has the most screen time with someone like Renee. It's like they're all connected here, and Curtis obviously knew them all, so the other three are the ones we're indoctrinating. So that's an interesting writing technique, now that they gave Evelyn this conflict with Oliver here. I understand her point in some ways. However, like, you know, he was killing this season as of a month ago, so I get the whole serial killer concept, but those were bad people that were poisoning the city, so there was a reason for it. She removed her mic, her communication device. That seems very Prometheus-like. Shit, he's here. Shit, he's here. Yeah, Artemis is... She's lefty, I didn't know that. She ain't good enough to fight him. She's no match for him. Fuck, man, this is bad. Very smart, Felicity. Good work. She's very... Prometheus is very smart to go after her, a target underground. It's a perfect place to try to kill someone, especially on an empty train at night. Oh, there you go, girl. I think you actually got a cut on him. Nice. But you ain't gonna take him. Oliver got there in time. Shit, man, that exploded part of the fucking train. Holy shit. Alright, there you go, the parachute arrow, that worked. And he linked up. I like the whole chain parachute thing, that was smart. We've got a lot of improved gadgets this season. Arrow has made progression in that way. Fuck, man. How are we gonna explain this at the mayoral office? It's like terrorist attack after terrorist attack in this city every year. Maybe people should start realizing that maybe the reason why all these horrible people are there, even though it is a shitty city, is because of Oliver and the Green Arrow. They might start turning against him.
Sounds reasonable to me.
There you go. Okay. Like, does Evelyn go to high school? Like, did she just stop learning? Like, she's 17, so what's up with that?
Mama.
He's gonna beat the shit out of him, isn't he?
Did you ever pull the turnip out of the ground?
Fuck. So is that what he sees himself as? That he's bringing the city together to accomplish one goal?
That without unity, one cannot accomplish anything.
Yep, I figured that's what he was going with that story.
To become a damn farmer.
Damn. He just straight up killed that guy. Fuck, man, he looks like he's gonna be a menacing villain. I figured that was Konstantin Kovar. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong down below, is that Dolph Lundgren? Really looks like him if it isn't.
Through my mind, like,
I work for the Green Arrow.
Okay, there we go. Good revelation, that's it. No, she's being serious.
for a good cause.
Alright.
Seriously?
Is he gonna come around?
You're not like mad or hurt or...
Are we making progression in the Arrow writing room?
You're helping save the city.
Exactly. Someone who realizes it. Oh my god.
So many questions. Yes, ma'am.
Not too many questions, it was good. Cool, she made progression and told him. He made progression and didn't get all mad about it. Oh my god, we're making progression in Arrow.
Chief of Staff, how you doing?
Renee, back off. Yeah. Nice job, Thea. She could kick your ass, Renee.
Nobody saw you get completely shot down.
We got it, Curtis.
I think that Prometheus has gotten his hands on the various arrows that you've used for the past 4 years and melted them down in fashion.
Wow, he's obsessed with them. That's insane. Wow, so Prometheus is really going after Oliver.
If that's true, that would mean it.
That would mean that Prometheus has access to SCPD lockup.
Oh, fuck.
Oliver, I think we have...
No way.
Prometheus is.
No way. No way. Nah, they're just trying to throw us off. No way. No way. No, I don't believe that. There is no way Quentin is Prometheus. No way. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. Alright guys, so that was my reaction there to Arrow, Season 5, Episode 6, So It Begins. So I'm kind of a little bit frazzled after the ending of that episode, and I assume by the time you are watching this, you are not as behind as I was, and you've seen the episode. So I won't ask too many questions of what you thought or something like that. You are always welcome to say what you thought after this episode at the time, but I understand you're kind of just watching this, and then we'll move on to the more recent episodes. So I would say 4 main points in the episode, but there's a few things to touch on outside of the main points. I would say the first main point for the first time since I've been doing this is the title of the episode, So It Begins, talking about the war that Prometheus has started. I would say the second main point of the episode is the B team, as they call them. I definitely think there's things to touch on with them there, especially Evelyn. I would say the third main point of the episode is Konstantin Kovar. We finally get to meet him in the flashbacks. And the fourth main point of the episode, and probably by far the most compelling point of this episode, is Prometheus Lance, or is Lance Prometheus, something like that. So starting with the first main point, taking into account, we're not taking into account anything about maybe Lance being Prometheus. We're cutting that out. We're just talking on Prometheus as a whole. Yeah, he's a terrifying villain. He's great so far. He definitely has massive amounts of skills, and that was my fault in the episode. I thought for a second Evelyn actually got a shot on him, and she cut him, but it looks like he cut her, and that makes sense because he had the sword and such. So, you see little things, when you're watching more in the episode or editing and stuff. So definitely saw that. I like the little fight that it was Evelyn versus him, and I like how we're establishing that if Evelyn can't take Oliver, Prometheus could easily dispatch her. He's, creating panic across the city. He knows so much shit about Oliver. Looks like he's been melting all his throwing stars into from the arrows Oliver's used over the past 4 years. Which again, we're not touching the last main point about the whole Lance thing, but it looks like if it is Lance or it isn't, he has some connection to the police department. He has the list, and he knows people that he's going after, on it and stuff like that. So a lot of crazy shit going on there. And I think he was introduced as a Batman villain. So as Arrow always does, they always take Batman villains, but if Batman went up against them, I think this is a great adversary for Oliver. They have similar skill sets, but he still has different things. He has the throwing star, he has the sword, he has the, a different outfit, especially with the mask and stuff like that. So there is things that are different. Yeah, the Archer's a little bit overdone again, but he seems like he's worthy enough, kind of as terrifying as the Dark Archer was, especially before we knew it was Malcolm. So I think there's a lot of compelling points to him. And I can't wait to see their fight going forward and learning more about him. However, just like with Zoom, where it kind of took a little bit of the momentum out of it when it was revealed who was under the mask, especially, I don't want that to sound wrong. When someone takes off the mask, let's say a villain, right? It doesn't really take steam out of it if it's a great reveal. Like, let's say season 1 of The Flash, right? Harrison Wells being the Reverse Flash, and then the whole story that took place where he wasn't really Harrison Wells, amazing. Having Jay Garrick then really be Hunter Zolomon and he's Zoom, I was like, all right, well, great. Like, what? So it kind of took a little bit of the steam out of that, but it was still great to not know who Zoom was the entire time. And even if the reveal was great, it still would have, it was still great when we didn't know who Zoom was. I feel the same way with Prometheus here, so I want to see that last a lot longer, because I don't think that ending speaks to, who Prometheus is or anything else. The second main point of the episode, I would say, is the B team. So as they called it in the episode here, that consists of Curtis, Evelyn, Renee, and Rory. I understand John and Oliver's point, and John is really the one that was advocating. It was kind of Felicity and John with a devil and angel on Oliver's shoulders there, where Felicity was like, hey, you should tell them, and John was like, hey, you shouldn't. And I kind of see both sides, but I see more the side of Oliver and John of saying, let's not tell them. Renee, yes, he was tortured for like a day straight, right? That's horrible. I understand him giving up the name. However, he still gave up Oliver's name. And whether we don't know if Prometheus knew it beforehand, which I'm assuming he did, given how much he knows on Oliver's background, I would assume he knew, because it's not like he just started making these throwing stars now after Church said it, so he probably knew already. But if he didn't, he found out from Church, which Church found out from Renee, so that's a problem there. Evelyn was questioning him in this episode. Even Curtis to a degree, even though he kind of came to terms with that a lot sooner than them. Rory as well. They were, I understand their point that it's a difference between a vigilante and someone that's killing for justice, and Oliver's killed before, and he's getting better, and he's not really doing that, even though he's killed people recently. And another different thing of a serial killer who literally has a list of people he kills without hesitation most of the time. He usually, in season 1, he gave them the option of trying to change. If they didn't, then he would say, you have failed this city, and he would kill them. So he wasn't just straight up killing. But he did kill a lot of people, and that's why season 1 will still remain my favorite, amongst other things of filming techniques and so on and so forth. But I understand the B points, the B team's, kind of, I guess, problems with it that they have with Oliver. I wouldn't say accusations, because what they heard and what Oliver said was true, but I think they need to kind of temper it down a little bit and understand what he was doing. I like how we got that, no, Oliver, he didn't just be, they thought Oliver just became the Green Arrow like the rest of the city somehow believes. No, he's been the Hood, he was the Arrow, now he's the Green Arrow, he's been everyone for now, going on 5 years. I like how Evelyn was given more storyline in this. She's probably been the least fleshed out character by far, of the new team, because we had one episode with her last season, which wasn't really good, in my opinion. Not only because she was, trampling all over the Black Canary, I guess, mantle just after Laurel died the week before, but it was also just, I don't know, it just wasn't a great episode. The best parts of that episode were Oliver giving the speech at the end and the flashbacks. But her, she didn't really fit. And she was probably the least excited member for me when I saw the new team here. But we found out a lot about Curtis. He knows a lot about them since, last season, and so he's been introduced in many other ways. We've spent a lot of time on Renee and on Rory. It was time to spend a little bit of time on Evelyn, bringing back her whole Dark killing her family and her problem with Oliver there. She's also the youngest, so you can understand, she wasn't like Renee that probably saw a lot of combat action before he was dishonorably discharged. Curtis has been through the ringer even with Team Arrow, excuse me, last season. So he's had things. Rory's experienced horrible things. He's killed a few people we saw at the beginning of the season, and probably more that, before he came to Star City. But also he had his parents die and everyone he ever knew in his entire city in a nuclear blast. So Evelyn, despite her parents and that whole thing being tragic, she is also the youngest, and maybe that's the hardest for her to handle the tragic scenario. And maybe it's, it's not fresher. Rory's is probably fresher, given where it was in the season last year. But also it might be harder for her to understand. But I like how the writers have given her kind of a conflict with Oliver, maybe setting up a little bit of a relationship, not in the sense of romantic, but in the sense that maybe they'll have a lot of one-on-one time, especially that she's the youngest that Oliver can tutor her, and she's also the other archer on the team. Renee seems to be taken under the wing by John, and then, Curtis has a connection, obviously, to Felicity, and Rory has a connection to Felicity as well. And Curtis fits through the entire rest of the team as well, since he was already known before the season. So I like the dynamic going forward. I don't appreciate with the B team whining as much, but they came back around very quickly. They had a discussion amongst themselves, which we don't usually see a lot so far this season. So it was nice when they spend a lot of time together, learn more about them. They saw, Rory's, metal work or whatever, and the drink he was providing them. Surprisingly, Renee seemed like he was the one least surprised what was going on and was the most one to get back into it, despite Oliver, declaring him as a serial killer. So I really did like that. I want to see more of the team going forward. I want to like them before inevitably one or two of them are off this season. But I want to learn more about them and get used to them. Especially, I'm assuming they're going to be, at least in the Arrow episode of the crossover next week. So look forward to seeing more of them there. I would say the third main point of the episode, like I said, is Konstantin Kovar. So there's not a lot to say about him since we only saw him in one scene. Correct me down below if I am wrong, but I am almost positive that is Dolph Lundgren. Looks exactly like him. Maybe he's completely different now, and he's not what I remembered, or there's someone that looks a lot like him, and, just correct me down below, but that looked like him. If that is him, or whoever it is, total terrifying presence, has the physical presence, especially with snapping that guy's neck. I think he could be a great adversary for Oliver in season 5 here in the flashbacks. I do like how the flashbacks were spending a longer period of time in them than we did, especially in the last 2 seasons. Season 3 and 4, I'd say we spent equally as little time in the flashback. So it's nice that we're expanding the story out. I'm interested in it. I think it's way more compelling. And I want to see this war of the Bratha going forward, against Kovar and his government soldiers, but also there's a war going in, inside the Bratha going on, basically not wanting the American Oliver there. So I think that's very compelling. I don't know how Oliver's going to get out of that situation. I assume Anatoly is going to help him in some way. But out of all the flashbacks that we've had, I thought Fires was a good villain in season 1 of the flashbacks. It was really Slade and Professor Ivo in season 2. I thought that was really good. In season 3, where it was like Amanda Waller and like the Omega virus, and then like those like government soldiers and that general, weak. Last season, I liked Ryder. I thought there was some compelling moments to him. Overall, though, the story kind of fell apart for me, especially toward the back, like 2/3 of that season. So I have high hopes for these flashbacks, and I want to see more of Konstantin Kovar going forward. And the fourth main point of the episode, I would say, is Prometheus Lance, or is Lance Prometheus? I mean, this is huge. If he is Prometheus, I have so many questions that I don't want to spend so much time on, because you guys obviously have probably seen the next episode after this that I'll be reacting to. I think they're trying to throw us off. Like in season 3, if you remember, there was that whole ending scene where it seemed like Roy was the one to kill Sarah, and I remember me and everyone else was like, what the fuck, no way. It had to do with the Mirakuru thing, it had to be whatever else, and it ended up being that the after effects of Mirakuru were making him have this dreams of being guilty about killing someone, and that's how he found out that he killed that one cop, and he was paying retribution to that and taking care of the cop's family ever since. In this, I think it's a similar route. I think because I think in a way it's a brilliant story writing, because Lance is drunk. It makes people like me question, he's imagining that, or there's some other way, because he could have got his arm cut another way. But also having the throwing star on the coffee table is so like, is Prometheus framing him? I don't know, because Prometheus, as far as I understand, is not Quentin Lance in the comic books. So that would be a total change up of that. It also speaks to Lance doesn't have those kind of skills. We've seen him been able to throw a right hook or handle a gun or, be a tactician, but not those kind of Prometheus skills. That's why I can't believe it. And I think it would be too much of a stretch. So there's a lot of questions I have there. Maybe Prometheus is framing him. Maybe somehow he took home the throwing star from the police station or from Felicity, and he forgot because he was drunk or something. He cut his arm on something else. I think it's going to be I think it's a total diversion. I think it's kind of like the Roy thing. I just don't believe it is Prometheus, and if it is, I think that would be kind of weak in a way, just because it's not like Lance is Malcolm or something. Like the skills are established, right? And Malcolm is still out there, and we haven't gotten to him yet. But it just would be a little far of a stretch. So I want to hold off on my judgment of that. However, if they somehow provided a great story to that, of maybe Lance has been secretly training or something, then I could go for that. So I'm totally open to that storyline, but I do think it's a misdirect. But overall, I like Prometheus. I like getting out of main points, the other little main points. I like how Thea is taking care of Lance. He didn't relapse. He's been drinking the whole time, and kind of she needs a father figure, because her adopted father and Robert's obviously been dead for, many, many years now. I mean, we got to be closing in on like 9 years or so. He's been dead. We have Lance losing Laurel, and Sarah's traveling through time. He's lost Sarah before twice or so. So it's like they have this nice connection. I think Thea can bring him back from the brink, especially if he's not Prometheus. So I did like their scenes there. I also liked in this episode how Oliver was very insistent that Susan Williams was not his girlfriend. I don't really want that to be a relationship, especially since, we were dealing with a lot of stuff in this episode, so I'm glad they didn't get to it. But she has that picture. She's sitting on that mound of dirt. Who says when this month ban and now 3-week ban of not putting any negative press in the, into the news stream of Oliver, who says that picture won't come out day 1 after that deal? So I think that's interesting to see going forward. I don't like how Oliver's getting so close to her, because he's going to get burned professionally and personally. And the other little main point is I like the progression in the Arrow writing room. Maybe they're starting to listen to us, that Felicity has kind of been a hypocrite with lying to her boyfriend, Detective Malone here, when she was mad at Oliver lying for way less serious reasons, well, way more serious reasons, and things to protect his child, she got mad at that and left him and all that stuff. I like now that she straight up she told him like, hey, you don't have to tell him he's the it's Oliver Queen, but don't answer all his questions. But yes, I do work with the Green Arrow. That's where I've been. Maybe she gave him back the throwing star, and I like how he accepted. He didn't get mad. Yeah, he was a little taken back, but then he was like, no, you're doing great things for the city and you're helping save it, and I want to team up with you. And I do trust him. I don't think it's going to be a sense of he's a villain or something, because I thought that last season with Thea's boyfriend Alex, and then he ended up just weirdly dying. So I think it's going to be, Detective Malone is not going to be bad, and I hope he's not, because that'd be very tropey. But overall, guys, that's kind of my thoughts here on Arrow, Season 5, Episode 6, So It Begins. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I understand you're watching this late, but let me know what you thought about it at the time. Did you think at the time, if it's been revealed, because obviously I don't want any spoilers, that Lance was truly Prometheus, or did you think that was a misdirect like me? What do you think of Lance's and Thea's relationship, Susan Williams and Oliver here? I would say Detective Malone and Felicity, kind of the progression we're making in the writing room there. The whole A-team, B-team thing going on. Was Felicity right in supporting the B-team? Was John right in saying we should keep this in-house first with the A-team? What do you think of kind of a lot of Oliver's stuff here coming back, especially the book, the list coming back here? For the first time since really season 1. They haven't mentioned it in a long time. What did you think about that? Did you like it? Do you still want Oliver to kill? And especially, what did you think about Prometheus? Beside who his identity is, do you think he's a compelling villain? Do you think he's dangerous? And how are we going to beat him? And any other thoughts, predictions, Easter eggs you saw in the episode, let me know them down below. As always, no spoilers. But if you can refrain from that, any thoughts are appreciated. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends if you'd be so kind. And until next week at Arrow, guys, thanks for watching.